end of 2015. I started at Keller Williams. I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I took Ignite twice that first year. I was runner-up rookie of the year. Aaron Rust cheated and beat me multiple times. She was a cheater, and I will call her to this day a cheater. She was like, pretty and nice, so she cheated. Anyways, and the next year, I think I sold 23 homes in my second year of real estate, and just doing Ignite. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just came into real estate, and they said, do these things, and I said, okay. I didn't know what else to do, and it worked out for me. And then in the third year, I got into leadership. I was the team leader of the office for the last 6 years, recently stepped down. Drusifer now is our team leader, and I'm enjoying retirement. My wife's like, you're not retired. I'm like, I'm retired. She's like, you need to go make money. I'm like, no, I'm retired. This one good.
Oh, whatever one you want.
Okay. So anyways, most of you guys know me. People on Zoom know me, but a couple of newer faces, so just in case you don't know who I am. I will be here more often than not. I have found in the last month that working from home doesn't work for me. I get very distracted very easily, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to start looking into this, and then like I'm on Facebook, and then I'm doing laundry. I'm like, oh, I can clean up the backyard, and then like I'm working on the pool filter. I'm like, what am I doing? So it's very distracting. So I'll probably be in more often. You guys will see me more. Always free to stop by. My office is going to be right when you leave the back over there. I'm going to be hidden in that back corner.
JD's old office?
Where JD used to be. Kind of on purpose because I know people like to come by and talk, so I don't want to get too distracted. But if you have a question or anything, feel free to stop by on there. Was that?
No, you're good. I'll just alternate through the camera so they can see you better.
Alternating. So, in my opinion, this Ignite class is probably the most important class in your real estate business. Tied into the other things, but you'll see many top agents out there in the Emerald Valley that have mastered this and nothing else, and they do very well. Even agents in our own office in here, that they've never really done the lead generation thing, they've never really done other aspects of their business, but they know how to have great relationships. And great relationships lead to business, right? People have to know, like, and trust you. And if people know, like, and trust you, when they think of real estate, they think of you, they'll use you, right? And so if you can do this at a high level, you obviously have to know, if you're brand new to the area, you don't know anyone, well, you've got to go out and meet people. But if you have a good group of people, if you know 150 to 200 people really well, and you can master this, you can make a pretty good impact in your business. You can do pretty well in there. So we'll jump into it.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah, you got to jump in.
I just want to jump in and let you guys know that on October the 9th, what's coming?
Bold.
Bold. Are you signed up for First Step?
Yes.
Are you signed up for First Step? Okay. Here's the QR code, Clara. Sign up. First Step is free.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost any money. Right here. Okay.
I should check it.
Are you signed up for both? Are you signed up for First Step? Are you signed up for First Step? About to be. Okay. You're about to be. Okay, great. How about on Zoom land? Are you signed up for Bold First Step?
First Step, baby.
First Step, baby. It's free. It's at the Hilton. There's going to be lunch.
How many of you guys on Zoom are signed up? Drop it in the chat. Or unmute yourself. Feel free.
Let's do it.
And it's not just coming from us, guys. Everyone that took Bold last time was begging me to bring it back last year. And we didn't bring it back last year because VIP did it. And we're like, when is Bold coming? When is Bold coming? Because it was so impactful. And so when it comes back around, I'm like, oh, I don't know. You got to go.
And here's something that you guys probably don't realize, is you realize that KWRI will actually not let us launch Bold unless we have 40 participants in the room. So the last thing we would want is for those that are enrolled in Bold and looking forward to it to not be able to actually have it launch. So who do you know in the market center or outside of KW that could use this course, right? Who do you know? And if you want me to jump on the phone with you and invite, I'm happy to do so. I will give you a Starbucks gift card for $10. Yeah, no problem at all. You guys remember that I ran a contest at the last team meeting. All those that sign up for First Step, I'm going to give a scholarship away. Only 6 people took advantage of that. Can you imagine? On that day, right? So, anyway, sign up for First Step to Bold.
Sign up.
Julie, I know you want to. Harry, you're in. I know it. Let's do this.
There's a weird phenomenon that happens when things get tough and the market gets tough. What's the bird that puts its head in the sand?
Ostrich.
Ostrich. Yeah, it's the ostrich effect that I just made up for the sake of the illustration. We know the market is getting tough. It's been tough this last year, and I see it over and over and over and over again. Remember, we were preaching to be the buffalo and charge the storm, and don't just ignore it. But for some reason, we get the ostrich effect. We're like, oh, it's bad. You know what? We could go to these classes and try to learn to be better. Nah, just put my head right in the sand, and we just we don't go do the activities that we need to do to go get through the time. The market sucks. Reality check. This is the worst market I've seen since 2015. The market sucks. There's less sales this year than there was in 2008 and 2009 when we had the worst market pricing crash in the history of our market that we've all been a part of. There's less sales today than then. The early 90s since the last time we've had this low sales. So what are we doing about it? Putting our head in the sand. I don't get it. If you're not signed up for the free First Step to Bold, maybe
Do it today.
there's other places hiring. I mean, you can give up. Those are all options. But anyways, that's my soapbox.
So inspiring.
I don't have to be on that soapbox anymore. Doesn't affect me if you guys go or doesn't go. I'm just letting you know, if I was into a point where I really needed to make this business work, Bold makes it do it. It really does. Okay, strengthen relationships. Today we're going to be talking all about relationships. One of my favorite things, because this really is the easy that most people don't do. And it's the easiest part of being in real estate. And most of us say that we're people when we get into real estate. I love people. But when it comes to this part, we don't do it. We don't have a plan. We get overwhelmed. We can keep it simple. We can do a lot of different things, but it isn't one of the most impactful things to your business. So today, establish mindset, identify the goals, devise the plan. Yeah, whatever. Cool. All right. Let's look at the mindset. Know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, focus, action. All right. So we all want to make money here, right?
Oh yeah.
That's the goal?
Yes.
So what is our goal? How much money do we want to make? 250. Great. I want to make 250. There's the big goal. So how am I going to have focused action around making that money? What is my strategies? What am I doing to make that money? Right? We all have goals, right? But without a plan and action plan and something we're doing, it's just dreams, right? I want to make $1 million this year. I want to make $1 million, right? There's no way I'm going to make $1 million when I've been spending the last month at home playing video games, drinking beer, right? That ain't going to happen. I can say it. I want to make $1 million, but it ain't going to happen unless I go get massive action, right? So if I have a plan for me, I really want to focus on investment opportunities for me. So if I have a plan and action in place, and I go take those steps, then I might actually have an opportunity to make that goal. But I have to have focused action, priorities, and clarity to what I want. Right? We have to have that mindset in place. In real estate, it's pretty simple. This year might be a little bit different, but we know that 4 to 6% of the population move every year. So if I take 10,000 people, how many of that are moving? 40 to 60, right? So if I take 100 people, how many people are moving? 4 to 6 people, right? So how much money do you make per transaction roughly? About 8 to 10,000 minus fees and everything. We'll say 7,000, right? right? And say, I just need to get by and make sure I'm making okay money. I probably need to do that about 10 times to make 70,000, and at least I'm going to get by on 70,000. Correct? I'm going to make 70,000. So if I know 4 to 6% move, and 10 gets me at least to get by, how many people do I need to know at a 4 to 6 rate? 4 to 6%. Get what the math I'm trying to do here? If I need 10 transactions and 4 to 6% move every year, how many people do I need to know to get that amount of business? 10,000? I only need 10 deals. So if 100 gets me 4, 200 gets me 8, 250. I know we only know 3 and 6% here. We get too much math. So if I have 250 people and I get the minimum at 4%, I should at least be able to get by, correct? Make sense?
Yeah. Oh, 200 people times 4% equal 10 people.
Yeah.
And then 10 transactions.
10 transactions is what I'm saying. That'd be 70,000. Just roughly. I'm just trying to make it simple for us, right? That if I know 250 people really well or well enough, on average, 4 to 6% of those people are going to move. They might not choose you, but they are going to move. Right? So the more people I know, the more opportunity I have. But how do we get those 4 to 6% of people to use us? And by the way, when we do it at a high level, those 4 to 6% will also refer someone that they know, and this 250 could easily be 20 to 30 deals if we did it at a high level. Make sense? So our goal for today is to figure out how to get this 4 to 6%. Now I'm going to show you my favorite drawing that many of you have seen before, but this is real estate and it's very simple. We make it difficult, but real estate's simple. We have our lead gen. We lead gen. And as real estate agents, we're hoping this is escrow. We're hoping we find somebody that's right here. I lead gen and they're like, I'm ready to find a house tomorrow. Woo! We go show them a house, they put in an offer, and we close the deal and we feel great. But what happens when we lead gen? By the way, this is time. This scale down here. What happens when we lead gen? We find people here, 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 and 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 here. And then we go, anything back here, we say, sucks. These leads suck. I did an open house, they sucked. Met 14 people, no one wants to buy. They're neighbors, right? We say they suck, but really they're just not ready to buy. We're always hoping we get someone in here, but the reality is most of the people we meet, they're not. This time period in here is 3 to 7 years. Right? So our job as real estate agents, our fortune in everything we do is between this time. And the fortune is in all of them. This is where all the money's at. This is where everyone's successful. It's right in here. Right? It's in this section right here. How many people can I meet that I know, like, and trust me, that I can build relationships over time and follow up with, so when they do come to the point when they want to sell real estate, when they do want to buy their first investment property, when they do have a friend that needs to buy, when they do have their daughter that's ready to buy a home, when they do have these things, they don't think of who to call, they just call you. That's it. That's the business. We got to lead gen to meet people, but what can that be? That could be anything. Like, I hate cold calling. Great. Go to church. Go meet people. Go form relationships. Go do a small group. Go do anything where you meet people and form relationships where they like you, and then you can follow up with them over the next 7 years, or 3 years, or 1 year, or 6 months to whenever they're ready, and they will choose you for real estate. Right? So you don't have to do, a lot of successful agents never cold called anybody. Now, if you don't know anybody and you're just doing nothing anyways, great. And you're willing to cold call, meet people. Do what you can do, but figure out what that is over time. let me get this for the camera, because I forget we have people on Zoom. I don't know if they can see that. Hold on. There we go. That's my beautiful drawing. You guys could feel free to talk if you can't see something. So basically what I'm saying here, guys, is we lead generate for business. That takes us 3 to 7 years to convert some of these people. We always hope we find somebody right away, but that's rare. But the fortune in everything that we do is in the follow-up over time. How over time can we follow up with these people to make ourselves some money? And today we're going to talk about how do we follow up. How do we follow up with people so they will use us for real estate? There's a million different ways to do it, and there is no right answer. There's a right model, but there is no right system. Does that make sense? Yes. Do we know the difference between models and systems? I think a lot of times when I was a new agent, they're like, hey, models and systems, we have models and systems. I didn't really understand what the difference was. Did we get that? A little bit? Explain it? So a model, I'm going to explain it as maybe a restaurant or something. Right? Well, yeah, like McDonald's is something you could do. A model is, all right, we know, for example, that the model would be, in real estate's the best example, that we know if we touch, have communication, some sort of relation with somebody 36 times in a year, right, they are likely to think of us as their number one real estate agent. So the model is, we say a 36 touch for your database. What are you doing? 36 touch. That's the model. The system is, how are you doing that automatically? What are you touching? What are you doing? It's the details of what you're doing, right? The model is the big game, the big picture, right? Very simple. We know 4 to 6% move every year. If you get 1,000 people on in a campaign and you touch them 36 times, you should get 40 to 60 deals a year. That's the model. The system is how are you touching them? What does that do? What does that look like? Does that make sense? Yeah. So we have clarity around that. So we know the model, so we can dive into more what the system looks like. All right. Lead versus contacts. Leads versus contacts. All right. So what's the difference between a lead and a contact? Who wants to guess?
Leads is you call them, they might be don't know you, but contact, you know each other.
Two-way conversation. The easiest way to look at it as a lead is I'm like, hey, excuse me, hey. And you're trying to get their attention and they're like, they don't want to talk to you, right? That might be a lead. Or they clicked on something, they don't know who you are. Contact is two-way conversation. They'll pick up the phone. Hey, Garrett, how are you? That's a contact, right? So a lot of what real estate is our lead generation model over here is how do we get them a lead where they will actually allow us to follow up with them over that time period. It depends on what we're doing to lead generate, right? If you're cold calling, it's more difficult. It's going to take more effort to get them to feel comfortable talking to you, right? Because you call them randomly on the phone. So an example of this is if I did a cold call and they were kind of receptive, at least let me talk to them, I would tell them, hey, what's the order? I follow up with all my clients. I let them know what's going on in the real estate market. Do you mind if I follow up with you? A lot of times they'll say yes, just to get you off the phone. But the first time I called them 3 months later, I said, hey, I'm a man of my word. I told you I followed up with all my contacts. We talked about 3 months ago. Just to let you know what's going on in the real estate market. You have any questions or concerns for what's going on? You just want a little update? And they go, okay. And then they talk, right? Building relationship over time. But it might take some time to get there. Open house? we should all be doing at least 3 things. So if I'm doing 3 things, I should have 3 plans, 3 systems to make them into a contact. So if I'm doing open houses, what is my system to make that person into a contact after the open house? Right? My goal might be to get business from them right away, but the reality is most of them are going to be 3 to 7 years away from buying a home. So my goal should be, how do I get them into a contact? So if I do an open house, it's a great example. Jason, you walk in to my open house, or I walk into your open house, we talk, I put down my name and information. How do you make them into a contact?
Put in your database.
Okay, and then what?
Put them on the smart plan.
Smart plan. It's a great way to do it. Is there a smart plan? I'm not smart enough to make a smart plan. Is there one I can just go download and use so I don't feel stupid doing it?
Yeah.
Cool, that works. Right here, there's some online that you can just download, but here's a good example of one. I turn on a smart plan, and the next Monday, if I did the open house on Friday, or Saturday, on Monday it says, hey, the sellers were just asking for some feedback on the property. Would you mind giving us a quick feedback on what you thought of the home? Thank you so much, really appreciate it, right? Whatever they say, that's all it is, right? On Thursday, hey, we got a bunch more open houses coming up this weekend. Would you like to send me a list of every open house in the Antelope Valley this weekend? Is that hard to do? No. Go to Flex, the MLS printout list of all the open houses, send it to them. They go, yeah, that'd be great. Great. Here they are, right? On the next week, or on the Monday, did you see any open houses or anything? Did you happen to go to any that you really liked, or what you think? Right? You're just coming for value, just for relationships. Is there anything that I could do to assist you? We talked about getting pre-approved, right? You're just trying to build relationships with them where they eventually say, yeah, that would be great. That would be, oh my gosh, you've been so helpful, right? I'm just providing value. And eventually go, hey, we're just not really willing, looking to buy right now or whatever. Great. I follow up with my clients once a quarter, just let them know what's going on in the real estate market. Mind if I follow up with you? They gave you permission. Now you're good. Now you're moved them into a contact, right? The goal is to get them into the contact stage. Does that make sense? So the lead comes in, they're a lead, but we got to get them into a contact stage. Because if they don't turn into a contact, they disappear. They float off to the abyss. What happens is us real estate agents, if we don't have them right in this section, we go, oh, they suck. These leads are terrible. And then they float off to the abyss, but really, 3 to 7 years, they're probably going to be buying. You know what my favorite phone call is? Favorite phone call? The best phone call in the world is when your phone rings and go, hey Garrett, we're thinking about moving out of state, or we're going to move. Can you come by and tell us what our house is worth? Do I have to go compete on that listing?
No.
I show up like this. And I go, hey, this is what your house is worth. It's a listing agreement. They go, okay. They sign it. And it's like, woo! Like that's, I'll be completely transparent. I really did compete for 95% of my listings. Very few times I had to. Most of my listings came from people I knew, my sphere of influence. And I would ask them, hey, are you guys interviewing anybody else? They go, no. Okay, great. I didn't do a listing presentation. I just told them what their house is worth. I walked around, hey, I can do this. You guys ready to do it? Yeah, we're ready. Okay. They sign. It's great. It's the best way to do business.
Because of that relationship that you established.
The relationship's there. They know that they want to use me. There is no there. Now, we all have to get business. My phone hasn't rang in the last few months because the market sucks. So you got to go do what you got to do. And sometimes you got to compete. I'm not saying, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm just saying if you do this at the highest level possible, you won't have to. If that's your critical business, right? Okay. Yeah, we went through that. Focus on building relationships and take market share. Yeah, great free insight there. Start with mindset. Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. Everything you do today leads to tomorrow's business. I say this, I've said this story 100 times, probably heard it before. I use church as a good example. It's my first year of real estate. My wife was like, hey, do you want to do this marriage couples retreat thing at the church? And I went, no. I don't want to talk about my feelings with strangers, like, not at all. But then I said, this would be good for my marriage, it would be good for my business, so maybe more good for my business. Like, I was double-edged. It really was. Not even pretending. It ended up being, we go. It was great. It was actually really fun. We met a good group of people. There were 7 or 8 couples. One of our top agents in the office, daughter was in that group. His name was Mike Dinowitz. He's still one of the top agents here, even though he moved to Georgia like 6 years ago. He still does business. he was like number 3 or 4, always winning awards. His daughter was in that group, and a bunch of friends and family were in that, or not friends, not family, but friends were in that group that we became friends. That group probably made me $80,000 to $90,000 just because we were close relationships. They referred me people. One couple moved, sold, and moved again, and then their grandparents sold and moved. Mike one day was like, "Stop taking all my friends' business, you jerk!" And I was like, "Yeah, they're mine now, Mike." I'm like, "Your daughter's gonna use me too." But that works, right? Those relationships worked. So you've got to figure out what your conversations are today and what you're going to do today, because that leads to business in the future. I also tell this story a lot. My very first day at Ignite, my very first time ever in these classes, in old Ignite, the first 15 minutes was like, go call people on your phone. And I remember I walked out into when we were in the other training room, and I didn't know who to call. And I got to the B's, and I called my friend Matt Bell, and I talked to him. First time I talked to him in years, and we ended up getting lunch. He didn't buy that day. He did sell his rental property that I double-ended at the time. This was like 2016, so the prices were a lot different. But I made like 16 grand, which is the most I made on any transaction at the time. It was about a year and a half later. But that first conversation took a year and a half, but he was ready then, and then he called me. It was great. The first conversation I ever had in anything around real estate in Ignite took a year and a half. Once again, it wasn't here, it was here, and I had to stay in relationship with them, but the conversations that you have today lead to business in the future. No questions on Zoom? Zoom, you're quiet. If you're trying to talk, it's bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. Another movie reference? Nobody? Baxter, is that you? Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. No? It's Anchorman. Come on, guys. Gosh, I'm not that old. All right. Once you meet your new contact, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you met them, you put them in your database and you stay in touch with them forever. Right? We hope for the best, but the reality is this circle's a lot bigger, right? This is the reality. That's where they're going to be. All right, identify the goals: lead generation, lead follow-up, transactions, and lead conversion. All right. Identify the goals. Convert contacts to close business. All right. So convert leads and contacts to close business, saying top of mind. So they did a study out in something, NAR, one of them. Basically saying, asking buyers and sellers how many agents they know. 75% of people really only know one agent, right? And then about 15% knew 2, and then everyone else, right? 10% said they knew 3 or 4. So the reality is every person knows at least one agent. They might know 2, right? So how do we get them to think of us and not of their cousins, brothers, roommates, whatever, right? Because everyone knows someone that's an agent. So they want them to think of us. So what do we do so they think of us and nobody else when we meet them?
Always sending something.
Always saying top of mind, right? The average person can know 150 people just in their head. Like, they know about 150 people before other people fizzle out. So how do we keep top of mind?
Door knocking, send them something of value.
Whatever you're willing to do, right? If you're like someone like I personally am never going to do a drop-by on some random person to say hi. It's just not me. Because if someone did a drop-by to see me, I'd be like, get the hell out of my house. Right? I don't care. Like, just leave whatever and go. Like, that's just me. Right? Some people love it. They're like, you're thinking of me? Oh my gosh, it's so great. Come on in. So it's just what you're willing to do. Right? I'm a lot more willing to call somebody, check in, see how they're doing, see if they want to go grab a beer or go do something. That's more my style. Right? So whatever you're willing to do that fits within your personality. Sometimes I think we get too much of in a box, this is what you have to do. Nonsense. It's your business. Whatever works for you, you can do, but you can't do nothing. Right? I'm pretty good when it comes to numbers. I'm pretty good when it comes to understanding the market. I'm pretty good at kind of predicting what I think is going to happen. frame, and it seems to be somewhat accurate. So for me, doing a great market update and letting people know, consistently informing them what the market's going to happen, what's going to do, something I'm comfortable with. If you're like, I see numbers and I want to throw up, then don't do the market, right? You got to figure out what works for you, but what can you not do? Nothing. What do most of us do? Nothing. Nada. And we go, oh, I'm just going to buy more leads from Zillow so I can close more deals. Well, yeah, that works, but it costs a lot of money. Money we might not have. So what if we just focused on the people we knew and did something at a high level and had the business come to us? The problem is we want instant gratification. We want this right now. Because I need money, I need to make money, I need this. Great. Spend 15 hours a week looking for this. But you got a lot of time in the week. Spend the other 10 hours, 20 hours, whatever, doing that. Right? You know someone that owns multiple properties? Take them to lunch. Go get coffee. Catch up. Pick their brain. Hey, I'd love to pick your brain. I got multiple properties. How are they working for you? Right? Be strategic. Go through your phone. People are like, this person's got a lot of money. This person has no money. Well, guess what? I'm in real estate. I'm going to hang out with the person that has a lot of money because the person with no money probably can't go buy a home. Maybe the person with no money, there's a great new product out that you can help them go get a new home. Then go hang out with that person. It depends on what you're trying to do, right? Do you have a great new program from a great new lender that has great new down payment assistance? Well, then why am I going to go hang out with the person that doesn't need down payment assistance? I'm going to go through my phone and find everyone that needs down payment assistance. Go call them, right? Just be strategic is all I'm saying. If I'm looking for investments, I'm not going to call the person that doesn't own a home yet. I'm going to call the person that's looking for different investments, different second investments, third investments. What kind of cash flow are they looking for? If you don't own a home yet, you probably don't understand that conversation. But maybe I want them to learn that conversation. I'm going to put on a clinic on how to invest in real estate. So I'm going to call that person, right? It's just a plan and executing the plan. We got to go figure out what we're going to do. But for them to stay top of mind, we got to do something. No excuses. It's not that hard to make a phone call. But I got to have money. Make a phone call. I'm terrified to make a phone call. Send a letter. I'm terrified. Text. Right? Send an email. It's not perfect. I have to have it perfect. Well, nothing's perfect. Right? Get over yourself. You got to do something. Because if you can't get over yourself in those situations, you're going to have to find something else. You're an entrepreneur in a self-made business. Nobody's going to come give you business. You got to go get it. If that scares you, I can't do that, you're in the wrong business. We got to go get business. All right, identify the goals, convert contacts to close business, remain top of mind, leverage mind share for referral business. When do we ask for referrals?
All the time.
All the appropriate times. If you call, hey, I got some bad news, the lender fell through, and you just wasted $600 on appraisal, and you're not getting the home. Oh, by the way, do you know when else buys so real estate? Probably not the right time. But when you first sit down with somebody and you're going through the buying process with them, and you go, hey, by the way, my goal for you is to be your realtor for life. So even if you buy or sell a home today, or even if you don't, I really just want to provide you great service and to make sure that I'm your realtor for life and that you refer me business for the rest of your life, because that's how I make my money. So if you have anyone that wants to buy some real estate, I appreciate it. I'd love to help them out as long as it's going to help you. But I promise to give you great service and really help you out during this time. Right? So I put it in their head. Because referral, once again, you know what the second best phone call ever is? Ring, ring. Hey, I got your number from Jason, who you helped sell home, and I got a house I need to sell, and we want to move. Can you come over? Yeah. That's the best call. That's the second best. Someone you already know is great because then you already know. The second best is someone you don't know, but they know someone you know, and they called you. That means they got a referral. They really appreciated the way you do business. Right? All right. Ahas! What are we taking away so far? What are we learning? Why are we quiet on Zoom? Come on, Zoom. I'm looking at you, Zoom. What are we doing, Zoom? Are we even paying attention? No one's saying nothing. Are they even there? Elizabeth's paying attention.
Cricket.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Alexis says, ha ha ha. Harry's on there. All right. They're here. They're just not talking. All right, let's get some ahas. What are we thinking so far? What are we learning from this beautiful art that I have drawn for you? What are we learning from all this beautiful stuff?
If you don't do lead generation, you will not have a business.
Yeah.
For me, it was more like don't dismiss those people that are not ready to buy. Like I work, like myself, I was lucky enough to always get it on the.
At the end? Yeah.
So I never really, I didn't give it to them.
The ones in the middle.
Yeah.
The messy middle. Yep. How often does your phone ring with people wanting you to come list their home?
Not enough.
Not enough. That's really the indicator. There is some real estate offices. There's people that I've brought into this business, and they wouldn't put those people in their database. They just get them out of their database and get rid of them if they weren't ready to buy. That's what they were taught. And I'm like, dude, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And those agents had always struggled to get the referral and repeat business. It's because people forget about you. If you lead generate really hard to meet somebody, open house, whatever it is, and they're ready to buy, and you're going, and you close, they're happy with you. In 4 months, in 6 months, in a year, they forgot about you. They don't know who you are anymore. You help them buy a home, great, time moves on, they faded, they might remember if they see you, but they don't think of you. They sure as heck aren't going to think of you when it comes time to buy their home or sell their home. Interesting fact, this one's from NAR. 90% of people surveyed said they would reuse their agent. 90%. 11% of people use the same agent when they go to sell their home. 11%. 90% said they would do it, but only 11% do. Why? Because nobody knows how to follow up with people. It's not hard. It's not complicated. But it's super, super important. If you're going to do all that work to meet somebody, get them into escrow, close escrow, be super happy with you, and you're just going to let them walk away for the rest of their lives and go through that whole process again, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would you not stay in touch? Because guess what? A lot of times people move, and a couple months later, a couple years later, they regret it. Or they want to move again. How many people left California in the last 2 years? Friends and family have left California, got out. Still moving. 500,000 people left California last year. Taxes, politics, all these reasons people are wanting out. Be your business. All right, devise the plan. Here's the important part. We got the goal. We know what we need to do, right? We know the model. We need to touch everybody. Not physically, unless you want to. Whatever. It's your business. Just get some. Never mind. I'm not going to go down that. Devise a plan, right? We got the model. Now we got to make the system. We got to figure out what we're going to do to talk to them. And we'll do it together. All right? So in the book, in your training, they have a 19 to connect and a 36 to convert. Basically meaning that if you touch someone at an open house 19 times, you meet someone at an open house, right? And you're really gonna connect to them. You're gonna have 4 touches, quarterly phone calls, 12 monthly newsletters, 2 touches through something random, and 1 touch at annual event to really get them to be your connection, right? Seems extreme, but that's what people are doing at high levels and systems and places. But we're gonna keep this simple today. We're gonna figure out how we're gonna talk to our people in our database and our plan for the rest of the year. So if we need to talk to people 36 times in a year, how many times is that in a month? 3 times a month. Great. What month is this month? Let's skip to October. We're going to have a plan for October, November, and December that everyone can go do today. All right? Is it super hard to think about what am I going to do? How many people do you have in your database? 500? 800? 200? 250? 100? If you're brand new, you're like, hold on, let me look at my phone and scroll down. I have, 600 or 700 or whatever it is, right? But how many of those people do actually have how many of them are contacts? You have their name, their phone number, their address.
I have about 300.
300? Okay, that's good. Right? So October. What's going on in October?
Halloween.
Halloween! Ooh, spooky. What can we do for everyone in our database in October? Happy Halloween. In what form?
For me, first text.
Trick or treat. Text? So we're going to do a text. Happy Halloween. Look at that, right? Beautiful. All right, there's one thing. What else could we do? Email? I heard that on Zoom. What kind of email are we doing? What are we doing for email? We're just going to write an email? Says, hi, hope life's good.
One time I got from, I think it was Palmdale, that they have the best houses that were participating in a contest of, I did that.
Okay, so we have a list. We're going to email a list of best decorated houses. How can we find that out? Google it. I'm sure there's somewhere you can find houses that are good, best decorated. Or maybe best places to take your family, haunted houses for Halloween. Something local that people might want to know about. I love it.
Patches.
What was that on Zoom?
Pumpkin patches.
Pumpkin patches. Discounts. If I had 8,000 people in a database and I went to a pumpkin patch and said, hey, I want to spotlight you guys for my 8,000 person database, can I get a 5% off or 10% off code and I'll bring in my camera crew? Right? If you had that many people, you can make it work. You can do something to bring value. I love it. What's the third thing we can do?
Call.
Call? I can't call. It's terrifying. I can't talk to these people. It's spooky. It's a spooky call. All right, we can call. Or, if I'm too scared to call, what else can we do? Leave voicemails.
A video.
A video.
You can dress up in a Halloween thing and just do a video.
Dress up. Video. Ooh, is this as spooky as these interest rates? Well, come on, talk to me and we'll get those down. That's pretty bad. All right. October. Done. November. What's going on in November?
Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness, guys. This is easier than I thought it was going to be. There's like something every month. All right, so what am I going to do for Thanksgiving?
Pumpkin.
You do like
A
a
pumpkin?
Pumpkin,
Carving contest?
carving, or you can.
What Jessica Dixon does every year?
I mean,
She has the kids pumpkin carving contest. She hands out pumpkins and she has on her Facebook, people send in the best things and she chooses a winner. That's great. Tom Paul does a whole festival over here. Not all of us can afford that, but these are all ideas. People do pies. I don't have any money. So what's something I could do that would get a lot of people's participation but doesn't cost me money? Donation. I could almost do a can drive for the local shelter. Do they always need food? Yep. Okay. Well, how can I do that? We're going to do a donation, a food drive. So I probably should email everybody. Maybe send a text. Maybe call. Maybe send flyers. Oh my goodness, that could be 4 or 5 touches in 1 month by just doing a food drive. Hey guys, I'm going to make it super simple. On November 20th, if you could just leave a bag if you have any canned goods, I'm going to come by and grab it. I really appreciate you. I'm going to leave a bag for you so you could just put them in there, anything that you have, right? You put your little card on there, you can get some paper bags or whatever. Get creative. You could door knock your neighborhood. Hey, we're trying to do a can drive. We're just trying to raise money. You could door knock. Get everyone your money, costs you nothing, makes you look good, and people know you do real estate. Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. I wish I would have thought of that myself. Did you know that normally in November, we do a canned food drive here and tell you guys, go make it your own? All right, November's done. What are we doing for December? Huh? Christmas. What people have done is hired Santa Claus to come take pictures with their family so they don't have to go to over there. Thought that was a pretty good idea. That's too expensive. Well, what if this group came together and we just said, hey, how much would a Santa Claus cost for a day? How much would it cost any of you to come over and do it? And we all split it. Maybe $100 each, probably more than enough. And you can do it everybody. That's an idea. Don't have to do that. I'm just throwing out ideas. What if I love the idea of helping people, because everyone loves helping people. What if we did a coat drive? What if we did a toy drive for kids? What if we did whatever? I can't do it all by myself. Great, there's 300 agents here. I'm writing on there. There's a lot of ideas, right? Just go out and do one. Or just send a Christmas card with your family and call people and tell them Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, whatever, right? So we could do I'll put on here a coat drive and a Christmas card and I don't know.
Food drive.
If you do one coat drive, you're going to talk to them multiple times, but I'm just saying a basic thing of a Merry Christmas text or something. Okay. So, for October, they're going to hear from you 3 times. November, they're going to hear that you did this great food drive and the email, text, and all these things you did for the local food shelter. In December, they know that you did a coat drive, or you just got a Christmas card to their family and a text message that said Merry Christmas and an email. Is that pretty good?
Yes.
Are they going to know who you are in those 3 months and know you pretty well? Is it that hard to do these 3 things? The hardest thing is going to be the food drive. But how hard is that really? If you just call somebody and say, hey, I'm going to do a canned food drive. Do you have any canned foods I can come by and pick up? It's not that hard. Think about it first. Maybe call Grace Resource Center or another place that needs the canned food to organize with them, or get in a group of people to do it together. Whatever that may be, I do not know if the office is doing that again this year or not. We've just done it the last few years, but I'm not involved anymore, so who knows what they're doing, right? It's very, very simple. And if you just go and take this plan and make it happen, and then by the end of this month you look at January, the thing is you got to plan. You can't just wait for the month to show up and go, oh, what am I going to do this month? What am I going to do for January? Happy New Year's. Do you have any real estate goals? Got to make a phone call at least once a quarter. Got to get over that fear. It doesn't need to be like, hey, do you want to buy or sell real estate? It can be something very simple. It's, hey, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. How's everything going? How are the kids? Any big plans this year? Any big goals? Awesome. Let me know if you guys get anything. Keep in touch. Just keep in touch. Be friendly. It's not that hard. Right? All right. Now I'm going to do one other thing. I am terrified and won't call, won't text, won't do anything. But I want to make a lot of money. What can I do? This costs a little bit of money, but I've been screaming this for years. Nobody does it. Nobody does it. All right, I was doing a panel. I was hosting a panel for Gabar. We had Maxie Case, Joy Colvin, and who else was there? We had Christina Queen, and is that it? Oh, it's here. It was Rima. I mean, not Rima. It was Anusha. Anusha, right? I'm hosting the panel. Maxie Case has been a top producer in the Antelope Valley for the last 40 years. Dominates real estate. Always has, always will. I remember she was my 3rd transaction ever. Wrote an offer, going to escrow, and I was intimidated. It's like, oh, she could be tough. She's actually really sweet. She's really nice. she really has been a top agent for a long time. And if you've been a top agent for a long time and you've been dominating real estate, what are you doing to lead generate to accumulate all this business? She said, I have 606 people in the database. All I do is once a month, I mail, not email, a newsletter. That's all she's done for the last 30 years. That's it. That's it. It's a good newsletter. It's informative. It's got good information. It tells what the market's doing. It does cost money to mail out 600 pieces of nice things. It does. It does. But that return has been on average of 40 to 100 deals a year. Seems like a pretty good return on investment to me. So if I'm terrified and I'm going to do nothing else at all, I'm going to get as many people, if I get 200, 300, 400, name, number, address. And even if I can't get their email. And once a month, I'm going to do a pretty good newsletter. Because that will keep it in touch. That's the bare minimum we should be doing. Everything else is a bonus. There's 12 touches right there. Throw in some emails of what's going on, throw in a phone call, throw in a funny video, whatever. You're killing it. But if you just did this, you'd be successful. You can't do a crap newsletter. It's got to be nice. It's got to be good. Here's the thing. So I say this, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've taught it, and I've said it. And I've yet to see somebody get a consistent newsletter once a month that's really good. Like, oh, just email. Raise your hand if you ever unsubscribed from an email chain.
If you would.
Unsubscribed from an email that you get.
Oh,
Yeah, every time. I don't care about your stupid things that you're sending me. I unsubscribe before get it out. I don't want to know. There's a couple that I've kept on that I thought have been pretty good. That have entertained me enough, right? Where I actually look like The Athletic. I'm really into sports. I want to know what's going on. They send me a morning thing. I'll read that, right? But 99%, I'm done. So if you just put somebody on there and they're getting newsletters of crap they don't care about, they didn't ask for, they are not going to read it and they are going to delete it. But if I go to my mailbox and I have a nice little thick fancy package and I open it up and it's a fancy thing of what's going on in the Antelope Valley, what's going on in real estate, and every freaking month I get one, I'm going to read it. I'm going to at least look at it and acknowledge it like, wow, this is cool, right? This is fancy. It's consistency over time. You could go online. There's a lot of places that do it. It's not that expensive, right? And you could just type in your little area what's going on. It needs to have good information. But if I got a newsletter of what's coming up in October, cool events going on in the city, what the market's doing, outlook for buyers, outlook for sellers, what interest rates are going on, I would really be interested in that. Garrett, how do I know that information? Google it. Steal someone else's information. I used to do the lore once a month. I think Drew is still doing that, where he's talking about what the real estate market's doing. Come in and listen and steal that. It's not hard. You got to form your own opinions. You got to see what's going on. Talk to your lender. Talk to Rob Reiner. Every Friday he sends an update text message.
yeah, interesting.
And everything going on with interest rate. You read that once a week, you sound like a brilliant person. You know what's going on with interest rates. Rob Reiner. He's a lender.
Clean mortgage.
Mm-hmm. He does a great job keeping you informed to make you feel smarter. I know what interest rates are. Every Friday I read it because I like to know. Right? And he makes me smarter at what I do. There's a lot of other people that do that. Right? So figure out what works for you and put that together. So this is communicating with your database everything that you should be doing. I'm telling you, just do something. Because nothing won't work. Nothing doesn't work. Nothing never works. Bare minimum. Most of us probably truly have 100 people where we have all their information. 100 people, we could probably do a nice newsletter for about $2-3 a piece. That costs us we had a budget for that every month, and we stopped spending money other places if we can't afford it. We just got rid of that. I don't know. Starbucks coffee, we drink the crap up front. That's bullshit crap, okay? We can be honest. That stuff's crap over there. Right? We could save money, right? We could save money to other avenues. Maybe we need to cut some other stuff. Maybe we don't need all the Netflix, Facebook stuff on Instagram, whatever. That doesn't cost money. But the other stuff that costs money, right? We could figure out a way to make that work. There's cheaper ways to do it too. It doesn't have to be that fancy. In fact, you can print from here, write up something pretty decent, print it, fold it in your own envelopes, and send it out. Probably about 50 to 60 cents per. Yeah, you can make it work if you had to. That's what first thing I would be doing. But Garrett, I know 300 people, but I don't have their phone numbers, or I don't have their addresses. Oh my gosh, we might have to call them. We might have to call and say, hey, I realize I don't have your address, and I'm looking to send out a monthly newsletter of what's going on in our real estate market. Do you mind if I get your address?
Go to title, the property profile.
You can go to title. It's a little creepy.
That's how.
Someone like, I didn't get my address. You could just look it up on title. Slightly creepy a little bit, but it's always better to call first because you're talking to people and that's what we're supposed to do anyways. But if we're scared to do it,
Yeah, we didn't have the phone.
or you can just use the vendor. If you're scared to call, use the vendor contact into their address thing. The vendor call, right? Where you just call, basically say, I need vendors. I've said the same thing 1,000 times. Jason, role play with me. Ring, ring. Hey, Jason, it's Garrett. Keller Williams, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, the reason for my call is I need some more vendors for my real estate business. I'm looking for anyone that you may have, painter, roofer, pool guy, anyone that you could give us 5-star review that I can recommend to my clients. Do you know anyone?
You know what? Like 2 weeks ago, we just had our AC tuned,
Awesome.
so I can give you this info.
Love an HVAC guy. Yeah, what's his name?
His name's Pedro.
Pedro. Awesome. Beautiful. You mind if I give Pedro a call and say you recommended him?
Yeah.
Awesome. What's his number?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
We
8.
got 2 numbers.
Beautiful. I really appreciate that. Hey, by the way, I realized I don't have your address, and I've been sending out a monthly newsletter to all my clients, keeping an update on what's going on in the real estate market. You mind if I get your address real quick?
Just email that to me. No,
Hey.
I'm just playing you.
I appreciate that, man. It's actually in paper form. I don't do any emails because I find people just delete those. If you don't feel comfortable, no worries, not at all. It's just keep it up in the real estate market. I promise I'm not going to be sending you a bunch of crap that annoy you. But if you're against it, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, it's 123 Main Street.
Beautiful. I appreciate it. I'm going to give Pedro a call, see what's going on with him. I really appreciate that update. Yay, while I got you on the phone, do you have any other real estate needs I can help you out with, or are you all good?
Not right now, but you know you're the man when I need it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Jason. You have a good one, okay?
All right, you too, man.
Thanks, man. All right, now I'm calling Pedro. Pedro! Jason just gave me your number. I need a great HVAC guy. Are you taking more clients? Yeah. Awesome. I really appreciate it. Hey, by the way, if you're ever servicing homes, someone's talking about buying or selling or moving to real estate, would you refer me the business? Because I'm going to refer you as much HVAC business as I can come across. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Pedro. Talk to Pedro. Got everything. Boom. Look at that. 3 birds, 1 stone. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. That's what we're talking about. The vendor call is the easiest call to make when you don't want to make a call. When you're scared, because you're not calling anything else but asking them for help. The people that they know that they'll be excited to give you. And you need vendors. You need electricians. You need people you can trust. So why not get them for the people? And now they know you have a bunch of vendors, so when they need a vendor, they'll call you instead of going to Angie's List. Angie's List is made because real estate agents failed. That's it. That's it. Because you should be that person. You should be the person everybody calls for all the stuff they need. Because that's what you do. You work on homes. You sell homes. You should be the #1 call. All right, off my soapbox. I'm just so good up on it, you know? It's like, I love being on my soapbox. All right, let's see where we're at here. I'm already lost. You guys getting good stuff on Zoom? You hear it okay?
Yes.
Am I the best presenter you've ever heard and way better than Tom Paul?
Of course.
So, yeah, right. Tom's the best. All right. Craft the connections, which you guys covered probably last week or the week before. The 6 connections, like who, what do they need, that type of stuff, right? Bringing the value to the people. If you have a contact list and it is mainly like renters, right? Just people you know, right? So is talking about updating your home for the spring going to be something they care about, right? Craft your message for who your database is. Know who your database is, and the more notes you have and stuff like that, the better it is. You may even have to do 2, right? But you want to be really targeting, being smart with what you're targeting, right, with your message. So if you do happen to know a lot of renters, right, people that you're younger, people are trying to save up to buy homes, they're just not there yet. So interest rates, down payment programs, all these things are stuff that's going to affect them. That's what we're going to go after, right? We're not going to be going after, downsizing because of retirement. That doesn't make sense. So you got to figure out what your database is comprised of. You're going to have a mix, of course, but what's the majority? What can we go after? Then include gophers. What's a good gopher you can include in your database?
Rate by down.
What was that?
Rate by down.
Rate by down. Call me today. If you got a great listing, what's a great listing? What's a great idea? Go look on Flex to see if anyone has a assumable mortgage in there, and say, hey, this house you can get at 2.9%. Call me today to learn how. Well, it's assumable, right? They're going to have to take over the loan. You have to qualify and do it, but we can go through the process and try to get you qualified.
And that's make up for me.
Make offer for immediate response. So whenever you send anything out, you want people a reason to call you, right? Some reason for them to give you a call back or to be in touch. So you give them something like a simple one is you want to know what your home is worth, give me a call, come by for a free evaluation. Everyone does that. It's pretty, but you got to think of what will make them want to reach out to you when they're reading your newsletter, reading what's going on, right? So for example, something I might do is give an update on investments, and I say, if you want to learn more about investing in real estate, scan this QR code to sign up for our seminar, free online webinar, or something like that. And I would have that set up so they can come in and learn about investing in real estate, what we're looking for those investments. All right. Develop your 36 touch plan. We did that as a group. Plan your touches. Did that as a group. Not really. Smart plans, ahas. Okay, cool. We're kind of finishing up. All right. So here's the deal. It all sounds good. It all sounds great. But until you do it, it ain't nothing. Until you go out and actually put this into action. So I challenge you today is look at your calendar right now and think, when am I going to put this into action? What day? And what am I going to do? So we made an idea. You might hate every one of these ideas. Great, hate them all. Don't care. Do something else. But you have to do something. We got great handwriting for you guys on Zoom. Good luck reading that. When are we going to put this into action? Now. Today. What time today?
That's we finished it.
3 o'clock. It's on your calendar? Whatever it is. I don't care if you do it or don't. I don't care if you're successful or not. I'm just giving you the tools. At the end of the day, it's up to you. Great. You get out of the business, less competition for me. That's the truth. I used to care more, but I used to, be judged on your guys' success. Now, hey, it's on you. Don't care. Right? I want to see you guys be successful because we give you the tools, but the truth is, if there's a room of 1,000 people, and I said, here's this 10 steps to making $1 million, it's worked on every single person, it works and it's free, all you got to do is these 10 steps, they're a little bit challenging, there's going to be like 1 or 2 people that actually do it. Because as soon as you hit an obstacle, what do? We stop. Like, the littlest obstacle. I was going to do it, but I got hungry. Right? So, it's up to you to put this into action. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody cares enough. It's your business. You got to want it more than anybody else to go put this into action, and it's not hard. It's not difficult. It's very, very simple. Touch the people in your database 3 times a month. I don't know what to do. Do an email. That sucks, but it's better than nothing. Send them a newsletter. It's better. Give them a phone call. It's best. I don't know what to say. I gave you a vendor script. It's not difficult. Get over yourselves. Just do it. All right. What else? What questions? How can I help you? What answers? What do we got to talk about for the next 5 minutes before we're done?
For me, was the vendors idea, something that I can implement.
The vendor script we can implement, right? It doesn't need to be perfect, guys. It can be clumsy the first time you use it. You're calling people you know. Start with your mom. Practice with your mom. Hi, Mom. Hey, have you guys anyone around the house? A painter or a pool guy or a lawn person that you give a 5-star like you really would give a great review for? Because I need more vendors for my business. And she can say, hi, sweetie, of course. Right? Practice on your mom. Then go to your brother. Then your other brother. Then your cousin. Then eventually venture out to some people that you don't know as well. You'll be like, Garrett, I haven't talked to you for 6 years since high school. Why are you calling me about a vendor? Yeah, it might be weird. So you might start with, hey, how you been? How's life? Right? You get referrals. You can get business that way. It's just getting over yourself and making the call. All right, what else we got? What do we got on Zoom? Who's got something on Zoom with a aha or question, or they want some more answers? They don't want nothing. Zoom's like they're stunned into silence.
I just don't have to make sure that I can stay consistent in sending my newsletter out because I do send it, but there sometimes, I leave it for tomorrow, and then of course the first.
When is it on your calendar to complete it?
For the month, first of the month.
The first day, the first of the month.
When the statistics come from the Flex Analyze.
Okay. And what prevents you from doing it each month?
I get distracted. I started, and I may go ahead and I have the energy to do 40, 50, and I said, oh no, I have to go buy these stamps.
There's always reasons, right? We all have great reasons. Good.
So after that, then I thought, okay, since I don't have the stamps, I'll just go out the door, knock, and leave the letters there.
Yep. Consistency over time is what's most important with those. What else? Questions? It doesn't have to be about this. Questions you have for me, questions you have around your database, questions around.
How do you make your beard so nice?
You don't shave it for about a week and a half. And then you do this a lot with it. And then you tell your wife how lucky she is to have you.
Any preferred vendors for that?
Any what?
Any preferred vendors?
Oh, preferred vendors? Yeah. It's the Phillips.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wish I could grow a beard like yours.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. We're getting gray hairs in there quite a bit now too. It's pretty awesome. Pretty excited about that.
Time to fly.
Just kids. Anyways,
What's the conversion rate on your database right now on this?
on the what? I'm sorry.
What's the conversion rate
On what?
on if you execute this plan on a database of 100 people?
4 to 6% is low. If you're not getting 4 to 6%, your conversion sucks. But yes, that's going to be roughly what it is. People like Jessica Dixon, she has a much higher conversion rate. She's like 10 or 11%. But she does high-level touches, high-level things with her community, her previous clients. We talked about that. She does the pumpkin carving contest with the kids. She gives out pumpkins and the rules, and they send it in, they tag. She does a great job with it. Pretty awesome. But if you're not getting 4 to 6%, they're ignoring you.
How was your experience in the beginning with follow-ups?
What do you mean?
Like when you would first follow up, did you get high? Were you getting high conversion rates? Of course, it took time, but
So just God honest truth, I was like throw everything at the fan and let it stick, see what stuck. So when I was doing my database, when I was building my database, getting their information, I turned them on like everything. They would get emails. I would do I did a lot of stuff on social media with newsletters, and I had a page, and then I would direct people to my website. So back before we had Command, we didn't have nice websites, and I built my own website where you could search for homes. And I would do newsletters, and I would do blogs to try to get people. My goal is to get people, if they Googled an address, they would go to my website, they wouldn't go to Zillow, right? It was hard to do, it took a lot of information. So everything I was doing was revolving around getting people back to that website, check out my website. Everything I sat and they scanned, or if they did anything, it would go to my website. It took a lot of effort, and I think I had like one person call me, and I'm like, how'd you hear of me? They're like, oh, you were just the first person I Googled, and you came up, the first person, like your website did. I'm like, okay, it's working. For whatever reason, they went to my website on something else that they clicked on. Google saw it was recognized, and it put me in there. So a lot of my stuff was filtered around that. So when I sent out newsletters, it was all about like, come to my website, come do this, come do that. The follow-up on the phone calls, I was more of like, I'm personable. I'm not a, hey, do you want to buy or sell or invest in real estate? I'm like, hey, do you want to grab a beer? How's life? How are the kids? I'm that way anyway, so it was pretty receptive. It wasn't something that was like a real pushy, but I never came at it as an angle like, you know, I haven't talked to you in 4 years, you want to buy or sell, invest in real estate. I haven't talked to you in 4 years, let's catch up, how are the kids, how's the family, right? And I built relationships over time that way. I don't know if that answered your question. Open house follow-up was fine, because I had a little follow-up plan where it would just tell me to call them, and it was just more until they told me not to call them anymore. But that's more like lead follow-up, not so much contact follow-up, so a little bit different, but yeah. Pretty receptive for the most part, but that's just my personality. You know, I don't know if everyone else is different.
When you set up your smart plan, that requires, you know, that one of the steps is an email. And then you get an answer back that says, stop. What do you replace it with? Because you somehow, if you keep that same smart plan, there's going to be another chance that it's going to send it again, and you're going to get that person.
I know that people didn't want to hear from me, I just took them off.
Just archive it, or?
Yeah, I know, I would archive it, I just take them off the smart plan. And I might give them a phone call or something in the future, but
Or mail something.
I never wanted to beg people to work with me if they didn't want to. I'll find someone that does. That's just me.
So I was talking to a couple people yesterday, and it was interesting because I asked them if like they needed any, like if they had any real estate questions or something like that. They said they're like, it's funny you asked that because he's talking about selling his rental property or something, but he's working with his cousin. So like, I bring it up because it's interesting to me that they would even say that they have a need for real estate. Right, so it's kind of like, I want your help, but I'm working with this person. So like, what do you think is the best way to like?
So you have to be careful in those situations, because typically in those situations, I'm like, hey, I'm here to help. It sounds like you're working with somebody. If it doesn't work out, I'd love to be your number two. Because if they are under contract and you say even slightly the wrong thing, you could get in trouble. You could get your license in trouble there. So I'm just very like, hey, I get it. We all know somebody. We all know somebody that's working with somebody. You know, if you ever need any help in the future, if it doesn't work out with him, I'd love to be your number two. Right? It's the same way I recruited people to the office. I'm happy. I'm with a broker. Great. Awesome. Glad you're happy. But if ever comes time when you're not happy, I'd love to be your number two. I don't want your business to stall because you don't know where you're going to go. I'd love to sit down and talk to you, tell you what we have to offer. If that moment ever comes up in the future, and hopefully it never does, you know where you're going the next day. Like, it's just, it's great to be someone's number two, because I know number ones are going to screw it up. The agent's probably going to screw it up. Most agents suck. It is what it is. Most brokers suck. It is what it is. So when you're trying your best to be great, and you're a great number two, when that person sucks, you get the call. There's a good agent in the Antelope Valley, a pretty well-known agent, and I wrote almost a $550,000 offer for his sister, because I was number two, and I got number two, and number one, family, wasn't giving them the service that they want. They got mad, and they called me to go write an offer. Yeah, baby. Like, hey, it's on you. It's your sister, you didn't treat her right, I guess. I don't know. They probably hate me now, but whatever. I mean, the offer didn't get accepted. Eventually, they did go back with him in the future. But I wrote an offer because I was a great number two. This is this guy's sister. agreements. This was back in the day when buyer's agreements weren't a thing. And they were a thing, but they weren't a thing. And so you be careful with that. Anything else? My time done? We learned something?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Reinforced.
All right. All I know is I still got it. It's been a few months, but I still got it. You're like, you don't have it. You suck. All right, bye, Zoom. It's been a pleasure. Hope you got something out of it, even though you didn't talk.
Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you, Garrett.
My pleasure.